Okay, and if we have a look at the team here, let's just check out, particularly in the forwards, as you mentioned, and it's a pretty strong-looking side, isn't it?
Yes, it is. With Sheridan in the front row, he's a powerhouse. Probably one of the strongest props in world rugby, so I think it's safe to say that the USA scrum could be under a bit of pressure today.
So this is the Pool B match between England and the USA. Can England get the momentum that they're looking for? We go now to our commentators again, Paul Dickinson and David Soul.
On the left-hand side, the American, and the referee, incidentally, today will be Jonathan Kaplan of South Africa, who certainly will be well known to most of the English players. And Phil Vickery, whose career was almost ended by a desperate neck injury a few years ago, he's recovered so well from it. Phil Vickery, MBE, of course, succeeded Martin Corey as the England captain. And Corey today is on the bench. And when you look at the bench, it's just so strong with the likes of George Shooter, Giant Matt Stevens, Corey Lewis Moody, and then the backs Peter Richards, Andy Farrell, and a player that I think will play a great part in this World Cup eventually is Matt Tate. I think he's an outstanding youngster.
Well, I think one of the problem positions for Brian Ashton has been the centre combination, and he's got Mike Catt, who's hardly in his first flush of youth, taking his position alongside Jamie Noon, who's a bit of a crash-bang merchant. Just getting the right balance. Does he play Andy Farrell? Does he play Andy Farrell and Matthew Tate? Someone who can control a game, and another left-footed option in the midfield, and then someone with electric pace outside him. It's all sorts of things to look forward to.
Well, speaking of the devil, that's Matthew Tate on the left-hand side there, along with the much older, much bigger Andy Farrell, former rugby league star, of course. And you mentioned Mike Catt. Of course, he was the man who took the last kick of the game in the World Cup final 4 years ago, and he just booted the ball out into touch when he knew that it was all over. But that's what they're all fighting for. England have never been in this position before. In terms of the defending champions, it will be absolutely vital for them to get away to a good start here today. So the bench and the rest of the guys there just waiting for the players to come out of the changing rooms. Lewis Moody just standing with a bit of bandage on his ears, which is pretty much par for the course as far as he is concerned. George Shooter there with a beard. So any minute now the defending champions will come out and will commence their campaign, and we've even got royalty here today.
Got someone with a crown on anyway.
Good to see so many English supporters. I wonder how many have travelled from America. A great moment though for Phil Vickery. He's such a committed captain, and he certainly made that position his own. Mike Catt, good playmaker, but has he still got what it takes to create his little bit of World Cup history? I wonder if Lawrence Dallaglio started the season thinking he would be here as part of the World Cup squad.
Well, Josh Lucy getting the honour of leading England out to winning his 50th cap today.
Ben Kay looking pensive. And Josh Lucy, it's only a small number of men have ever won 50 caps for England. Even smaller number who've won 50 and become World Cup winners. There are the Americans getting ready to stand alongside England. Mike Hercus has only scored 9 tries for his country, but he's got a hatful of points in terms of conversions and penalties. And this really is a new look American side. As I was saying, The number 12 centre, Fahafalau Ezekia, came from Tonga. Owen Lentz, the hooker, born in South Africa. Mekiola is also another Tongan, and the American Samoa player Malifa wears number 21. The teams will come out onto the park in just a moment. Can England win this trophy again? We shan't know for 6 weeks, but this game might give us some clues.
Well, they need to find their form, and they need to find their form quickly if they're going to make a successful defence of it. They've got plenty of experience, they've got plenty of talent in their squad. It's a question of harnessing it all and making it count for 6 or 7 weeks.
Let's not forget, in their group as well, we've got the strength and the speed of Samoa, the unpredictability of Tonga, the USA here, of course, and one of the great rugby playing nations, South Africa. So will Johnny Wilkinson be fit for any of those games? Certainly in terms of competitiveness, there's quite nobody to match Lawrence Dallaglio. Josh Lucy wants this one. And certainly Mike Hercus and the rest of his team will have a huge task on their hands. Jonathan Kaplan standing right on halfway, the match referee. The Stars and Stripes we will hear first. Here today. I was in Osaka for the World Athletic Championships recently, and I heard that national anthem a few times. I can tell you, perhaps not in that form. Still in Johnny Wilkinson, despite the fact he's not even playing here.
Well, absolutely. He made his name. I mean, he was always a fantastic player, but he made his name with that incredible drop goal that night in Sydney 4 years ago. But he's been bedeviled by injury ever since. I feel enormously sorry for him, even as a Scot. As a professional rugby player, he's played such little rugby since then.
Well, Sweet Chariot, the anthem for the England rugby team, and represented there by a huge number of international caps. You've got to pick one or two players out. You've got to pick Mike Catt out. I know that he's not in his total spring of youth, as it were. But he's such an experienced player, great playmaker, I think. We should never underestimate him. And of course, Lawrence Delalio confronting the scrummage. So here we go. Jonathan Kaplan gets this game underway. England in defence of their title that they won 4 years ago so dramatically in Sydney. No Johnny Wilkinson here. He's not even on the substitutes bench. But we're here in Lens at the Stade Félix Bollaert, the first game in Pool A. There's Ollie Barkley, substitute number 10. I think he's a very good footballer, is Barkley. The first set piece, good take there at the back of the line. The USA taking play to England. Alec Parker it was who soared above everybody else for that one. And the centre there, Paul Emmerich, playing in his second World Cup, took it on a few metres further. And as, of course, with all of the top teams in the world, the defensive line of England looking very good. They might have stolen it there through Ben Kay. So, first touch for Perry, of course, the scrum half. Away goes Chris Wiles. Good tackle coming in from Simon Shaw. Phil Vickery just making sure that the guys are all on side. But a good period of play here for the Americans. Once again, Paul Emmerich, but a penalty for England.
Well, Americans starting with intent. Certainly not backing off the challenge of running at England. Good defence there by Jason Robinson.
Interesting, isn't it, that Robinson has stopped playing club rugby, but he's still playing international rugby.
Well, I think he was on still, wasn't he? And I suppose preparing for this, he can retire from rugby at the end of the World Cup and cherish that moment when he scored a try to win England the World Cup.
Ollie Barkley, who we just saw there, apparently always likes to run out onto the pitch when the team comes out in last place. It's a superstition he's got. I don't know whether he actually did it today or not. It was taken right in the middle there by Ben Kay. Finds his forwards on. And they're still going. Simon Shaw right in the middle of it. And Sean Perry, and he goes off his left hand, flicks it away. Lucy really couldn't get any momentum there. He's going sideways. And Perry decides to go himself. I think that was hanging on to the ball. Yes, it was. But a little bit of a glimpse there as to what England can do.
Lovely break by Barker there. Saw Hercules on his outside shoulder and just cut inside. And great support by Mike Catt. He had the vision to put in that long pass, but good American cover defence.
Just watching that again. Sean Perry there, who certainly has made this number 9 jersey for England his own this season, hasn't he?
Yes, I'm sure it didn't quite the right option there, but
Owen Lennox throwing in, almost a steal there by Ben Kay. Not straight by the Americans. Big fella, this Mike Mangan, 6 foot 5.5 inches tall. That's almost 2 meters. So that begins in the scrummage. Dardo and Lenz and Chris Kostanovsky. Sheridan, Reagan and Vickery. Lucy coming round just close to his pack there. Just standing up, Shaw takes it. I've seen Shaw with some absolutely storming runs this year. He's certainly making his impact on this game. Early doors inside the first 5 minutes. Simon Shaw just dummied there, decided to go back inside instead of going outside to his winger. It's all England at the moment. Just looking to the right, then to the left. Hanging on to the ball, Joe Worsley. Over the top. They're closing down that left wing. But they were playing
there was an American trying to prevent release, slow the ball down. Couldn't quite see who it was that transgressed, but it was very obvious.